Who here likes coffee? Who here likes beer?
It's about a fantastic beer.
This is about a coffee beer.
And incidentally, Banded Horn makes. And it's called the Jolly Woodsman. It's a wonderful coffee stout. And this song is all about it in a classic Irish style.
Amanda here. Welcome to entry 73 of Great Beer Adventure. Today is going to be a fun episode. We start out in our typical fashion for our long shows, but by the end, hopefully, we'll have you tapping your toes along. Let's not waste any time and jump right in. Hey everybody, I am sitting in Banded Horn Brewing Company in good old Biddeford, Maine, and it's a quiet Tuesday. I am sitting here with Tim Bissell. Tim, thank you so much for coming and joining me.
Thanks for having me here at Banded Horn.
We agreed on this because you just recently moved into one of the mills. They're redoing the mills here?
Yes. I just moved to right behind Dirigo Brewing Company because I have a thing that I can't live more than 100 yards from a brewery.
That's good.
So I'm able to fulfill that by living where I live now, and I have Banded Horn within walking distance and Run of the Mill within walking distance, and I can take a cheap cab to Barreled Souls. So
there you go.
Life is good.
Yeah.
Life is very
Do you do cabs still, or do you
Uber? I just like to say cabs because it's like, if I say Uber, then I'm like dissing Lyft, and even every now and then you get in an old-fashioned cab and you meet someone that's kind of weird, and it's fun.
Do the lifts here have the pink mustaches? I've heard that some lifts have pink mustaches.
See, I don't know actually if we have Lyft yet.
Oh. Well,
I'm thinking of Boston area. I've used it down there, and I didn't notice any pink mustaches, but I was not in a position to be noticing things.
Good.
I was in a position to be driven home.
Yeah. So Tim has been on the show a couple of times. For those of you that decided to jump in the middle of this adventure that we're on, Tim, will you please introduce yourself once again?
My name is Tim Bissell, and I am the Director of Marketing and co-founder of Nice Brewing Company out in the woods of Maine in Limerick.
And you guys have a little something different that you guys do out there.
Yeah, we specialize in German-style wheat beers. More just kind of German-style beers, and then the sub-niche is wheat beers. Our flagship is a Hefeweizen. Right now we have a pretty cool lineup of wheat beers. We have a Hefeweizen, a Dunkelweizen, a Weissenbach, and a Weissen Stout. All fresh, all ready to roll.
Weissen.
Yeah, lots of Weissen. But we did alt beer and Kolsch this summer, so kind of branching out away from wheat beers, but more just under the overall umbrella of German beers, just exploring those styles on the German ale sort of thing. So, yeah, that's what we do. We make crisp, flavorful brews that you want to bring home and drink more of.
Yes. I actually had a mummy's weekend this summer, and so all the other people mainly drink wine. I brought a cooler full of beer.
We'll convert them one at a time.
It's what I'm working on.
We've already converted a few wine drinkers at Nice, you know?
Yeah, I have converted some. Blueberry seems to be an easy entry
blueberry
point.
Beer. Any Hefeweizen, I find. Like, that's why we see a lot of converts.
Yeah.
But every now and then I'll have, someone's like, I don't drink beer, and I'll give them our stout, and they're like, this is the best thing I've ever had. And I'm like, well, maybe you just haven't had beer before. Because it's pretty aggressive.
Are you sure you've had beer?
Well, they're like, well, it reminds me of coffee. I'm like, beer can remind you of a lot of things.
Exactly.
There's a lot of beers to discover.
I know. So that actually is a good way to segue into our first round. Round one is where we actually talk about what we're drinking. Oh. As I mentioned, we are here at Banded Horn, and Banded Horn is also in an old mill.
Yes, they're in the old Pepperell Mill.
Yeah.
So, this is the Pepperell Mill. This is where they made the textiles back in the day. From how I understand it. This is from reading placards on buildings, so it's a pretty loose understanding. But so here is where the actual fabric was made, and up the river where I live in the mill was the machine shop. So they made and fixed the machines that made the fabric. So it's all, and they would send them downriver. Like, it was so cool the way it was all tied in with the Saco River here, and it's nice to see it come back to life.
Yeah. You know, I never really even thought, I always thought that each of the mills would be like a different company.
And there were sometimes different companies, but it was like the machine shop knew if they set up there, they'd get all the work for the mill here. And there was, textile mills, there was a leather tanning. It wasn't all this and that, but it was kind of like a, I don't know, what do we call it now? Like an industrial incubator?
Yeah, like the industrial parks. They all kind of like feed off
just
each other.
happened, they needed the river. They needed that source of...
Right.
So, anyhow.
So
Divergence.
So I'm drinking the Mountain, which is 12%.
Yes, you have a very tiny glass of the Mountain, and that's a good
Yes.
choice.
Yeah, I still have to drive home, so I asked them for the tiniest glass they had, and she said 5 ounces, and I was like, okay, I guess that's small enough.
That'll work.
That'll work.
It passes the test. I know these things. I am drinking Daikaiju. It's a double IPA. It's huge, resinous, fruity, and piney hops, according to this clipboard in front of me. And it's 8.7%, and it's just delicious.
And you're okay with the bigger percentage because you can stumble home. And by that, I mean because of your boot.
Yes, that's true. It's radio. They don't know about this. Well, it's not radio. It's podcasting. But
right,
yes,
but
I
told everybody.
I have a broken foot, and I'm wearing a boot. But it's getting better every day. And
Nice.
I will walk home.
Yes, good job. I love they've got a Jolly Woodsman that they do.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, and this will probably play into what we'll talk about later, but there is a Jolly Woodsman song. I don't know if you know the Jolly Woodsman song. I know you know it because you saw it last year when we played it. But it may or may not be coming back this year, hopefully with some added accoutrement. But, yes, the Jolly Woodsman is not only a great beer, which, real quick, it's a blend of their Norwald Stout and the Mountain Stout with speckled axe coffee added on top. So, it's good stuff.
Fabulous.
Yes. But the song is even better.
Yeah, I didn't put the two together. Did you guys write that song?
Gabe, who is an employee here, I believe, wrote that song.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's jaunty.
It is jaunty. I remember it.
Yeah.
Jaunty is a perfect word.
It has a significant jaunt to it.
I spend nearly every penny on the Woodsman's Winsome Stout, and a pint of beer I've not encountered since. Upon his merry company I'm happy to depend. His speckled axe invigorates my soul. When the fates make a man of me, when time becomes my enemy, when all my mates abandon me, then a walking with the woodsman I will go. Scarcely any memory of my wife and family. On birthdays and occasions I've no part. But of the woodsman's whereabouts I'm expert to be sure. Such cheery disposition warms my heart. When the fates make a man of me, when time becomes my enemy, when all my mates abandon me, then a walking with the woodsman I go. I tried every stout and porter from Portland to Pompeii, but the Jolly Woodsman understands me best. For none except the woodsman puts a spring into my step. It's the perfect analgesic for my soul. When the fates make a man of me, when time becomes my enemy, when all my mates abandon me, then I'm walking with the woodsman I will go. Everybody! And when the fates make a man of me, when time becomes my enemy, when all my mates abandon me, then I'm walking with the woodsman I will go. When the fates make a man of me, when time becomes my enemy, when all my mates abandon me, then I'm walking with the woodsman I will go. When the fates make a man of me, when time becomes my enemy, when all my mates abandon me, then I'm walking with the woodsman I will go.
So, yeah, again, just easily transitioning into our next round. Thank you so much for setting me up so well.
King of the segue.
Our second round, we actually talk about a theme on the show. And the theme I want to talk about is I keep running into two different types of people. One, the ex-teacher that now is in the brewing industry, which I am totally going to look into as an ex-teacher myself.
Yep.
And then the musician. There are so many people in the brewing industry that are musicians. Mm-hmm. And I really want to look into why. Okay,
well, I'm going to say something on the first subset, the former teachers in the brewing industry. I think my parents were both teachers. They stuck through it. They did 30 years each. But I think you can look for former teachers in the insert any industry here. Sometimes teachers just have enough, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
So, but it is cool that a lot of them have found their way to brewing because it's a completely different type of job. Although teachers are wrangling up like a class full of students, and all we do is wrangle yeast all the time, so, you know.
Yeah. And
it's a lot easier.
I was a tour guide for a while, and that is a lot like wrangling kittens, and that's what I felt like.
I would not want to be a tour guide.
No.
I'd like to be on a tour.
Yeah, those are fun.
Not the guide. But why are there so many brewers that are musicians? It's a good question. I think it's there's a lot of creativity in both, in brewing and in music, but there's also a lot of rigidity in both. There's, you can't just do anything you want when you're brewing beer. There are certain steps you have to follow. There are certain processes you have to follow. And with music, outside of some really wild jazz, it's like there are rules to music. There are routines. There are certain formulas. So it's sort of creative expression within a sandbox to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. So I think it kind of just scratches that same part of the brain as brewing. But even on a larger scope, it's like people that get into brewing commercially are usually people that are driven by passion, I would think, and usually that passion spills over into different hobbies. So, I know brewers that are just passionate fishermen. I know brewers that are, really into music. I know brewers that are really into mountain biking. They usually have some sort of hobby that goes alongside with brewing because they're just that kind of person that's like, I have a spare moment. Cool, I want to do something.
Right. No, I completely... Now that you say that, I always thought about like, oh, they're both creative ventures. That's kind of it, the whole thing. But
so is painting. But like painting it's literally a blank canvas.
Right.
Like, so I think it's something about the structure.
Yeah.
I think it draws people in.
I never really thought about that, but I can see how that is. I actually tried to learn how to play guitar.
Cool.
When I was pregnant. The guitar got further and further away from me.
I would say your form must have just been terrible.
It was. I have not picked it back up since. And
it'll be closer to you now.
It will be. It will be a lot closer because I was really pregnant.
God, if you had an ovation guitar, it's like two round things diametrically opposed to each other. That would have been
perfect.
No, it would have been terrible. Actually.
Oh, terrible.
You would need an inverse ovation so it would have fit.
Oh, there you go.
If you Google ovation guitars, you'll know what I'm talking about.
All right.
They have a round back.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, the babies would have just kicked on it.
Oh, but then it would have been like a drum.
Right. They would have had the percussion, and then I could just, like, almost play guitar. Yeah, and I don't think that my guitar teacher, besides me being pregnant, really liked the fact that the only thing I wanted to play was Johnny Cash. I was like, he only knows 3 chords, basically, so can I just learn those 3 and then you teach me how to play?
Yeah, there is that. the chord structure is probably the first thing you need to get down. But, like, Johnny Cash songs are good, just good old-fashioned traditional songs. You learn verse, chorus, verse, you learn just kind of song structure through those. Those are good places to start, but...
Yeah, he wanted me to learn, like, about all the chords and how to, like, find each one of them. And I was like, I can't. We don't have enough time. Well, we literally are. It's literally escaping my hands. So we can't take that long.
Maybe you could have used that time for maybe more theory exploration.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm not patient. I'm not
How
good
busy
with the
could you
structure.
be? You're just pregnant.
Right.
It's not like there's a human being growing inside of you.
Exactly. That wasn't happening. I was just really big.
Should have buckled down on the guitar. That's what's important.
Absolutely. Every once in a while, we'll pull it out, and the girls will play it. They're now 2 and 5, and so
that must be a lot of fun to listen to.
No, but it's super cute.
Oh, wicked cute.
Because I do sing Johnny Cash the songs to them for lullabies, and they'll sing it now. They'll just play. Yeah, so that's the closest I've ever gotten.
Hey, it's as long as there's music in the house, it doesn't have to be good music.
It doesn't. But yeah, it's the structure. I really hate structure.
As I get older and I really embrace my attention deficit disorder, I've really started to love structure.
Yeah.
But originally, and like in my core, I rebel against structure because, like, whatever, I do what I want. But it's like, I do what I want. Yeah, it's noon. I'm still in my pajamas, so I should probably get to work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, structure can be limiting if it is what it is. Like I said, there's structure in so much as it's like to play music with others. Which, brewing is also a pretty collaborative thing.
Very much, yeah.
You have to agree to a certain set of rules. Like, I'm not going to be playing in a different key, otherwise we're going to sound like garbage. So, there is something to be said about that. You sort of know what to expect when you pick up a guitar and you jam with somebody, but you never know where it's going.
Yeah. I think there's also a whole different language to it, both brewing and music.
Yeah.
And
I think I know the music language better than the brewing language.
As a marketing person, you probably should get better at the brewing stuff.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, for me, I couldn't get past high school French. So like trying to learn another language, it was always really difficult to. So I feel like you must have a certain aptitude for that.
For me, I started playing guitar, and let's just preface this by I am no amazing musician. I don't play in any bands other than I sit in once a year with this bandit horn band. I play the bass. I'm turned way down. You can't hear me. But I've played guitar since probably about 8th, 7th grade. And there was definitely 2 years of just my parents were like, don't plug that thing in. Don't play it so that we can hear it. You're terrible. They didn't say it that way, but I knew I wasn't good, but it's like anything. You practice, and it just clicks one day, and you're like, oh,
Right.
I understand now how to play a power chord. I can basically play any song on 90s alternative radio. And that's what opened the door and started playing like Nirvana, Rage Against the Machine, and that sort of stuff, because I was an angsty teen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's just, it eventually comes to you, but you have to put the time in. It's like brewing good beer. I homebrewed the first 3 batches. They were garbage.
Yeah.
But you do it, you learn the process, you get used to things, you don't make the simple mistakes because you're into the routine, and then you're like, I could drink this beer, and then eventually I could sell this beer. So it's like, I sound like such a dad, but it's like anything in life. Just keep at it. It builds character. You'll get good someday.
That is kind of dad-like.
Take your vitamins.
You must be getting a little bit older now, because that's very dad-like.
I'm past 30, so yes, it's over.
You mentioned the Banded Horn band. So what we're talking about, for those that don't know, is as of the time that this podcast comes out, there's actually a week here in Maine called, well, in Portland, Maine, because there's another one in Bangor.
That's right.
But the Portland
Beer Week.
Yeah. And it goes from Sunday to Saturday?
Dates, times.
Yeah.
They're all just a construct.
Structure.
Yeah, but it happens, and you
happens.
can Google it.
Right.
And have more answers than we're
just
giving you.
happened. And one of the big events is
Arguably the biggest, because I'm involved. But
between this and the Pro-Am.
the Pro-Am, I hear so many good things about the Pro-Am.
You haven't been to that yet?
No, we don't. It's a busy week for us.
Yeah.
Can't do everything. But
Right.
I've heard good things.
You got to at least go to it.
We'll see. If we're brewing, I'm out.
Yeah. All right.
Anyhow.
Anyways, okay.
But what
so
we're talking about
is a battle of the brewery bands.
Battle of the Brewery Bands.
Yeah, and last year it was fabulous. There were 5 breweries 5 bands.
5 bands. Yeah, the rules were it's like basically all members of the band must be at least tangentially related to the brewery. I know there were some loose affiliations, but for the most part, everyone was pretty cool about it. And like Allagash had like
50?
Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros up there. There were a lot of people on that stage.
Well, they've got a lot of employees.
That's right, because they have a big pool to choose from, and they sounded great.
They did.
But yeah, so it was. Let's run through the list. Who was it? It was Allagash, Rising Tide, some,
you guys,
us guys,
and there was one more.
Oh, Oxbow.
Oxbow,
Which is like Oxbow. Sidebar. The Oxbow band, they call themselves Doughboy.
Right.
And I believe Doughboy is Tyler, who works there. That's kind of his...
Right.
That's
what he goes
moniker.
by.
I
Right.
didn't know his name was Tyler until Facebook, but they have this band, and these guys are so good. They are like... I don't know, I guess I would place it somewhere around like the Humphreys McGee genre of like prog jam, modern, just like really tight musicians that play really good instrumental music, and it just... goes places, and they're just really talented, but like everybody else is up there slapping away Tom Petty covers and like radio hits, so maybe the crowd wasn't as into Doughboy as they could have been, but those guys were by far the best musicians on that stage, hands down.
They're a very artistic brewery.
They are. They have and I think that goes back to the passion thing, and they're good at finding those people that like, yeah, they're really good at what they do in the brewing industry, but outside of it, they're just driven, passionate people. They're not like me, where I'm like watching public broadcasting for 24 hours a day.
Right, yes. And the cooking shows.
Oh, on the Create channel, on
Right.
Public 26-2. That's my channel.
So now the rules, though, were that you could partner up. So Nice, a.k.a. you.
And this is another little important piece of information. There are 2 current employees at Nice Brewing Company. And Dustin, I've known him since 7th grade. He's serviceable on hand percussion. We didn't have any room in the band for hand percussion. And so, but the 2 of us weren't going to start a band. So, Ian of Banded Horn, very good drummer, got a voice on him too. Him and Gabe of Banded Horn also, they have a side band, which, man, I should totally remember the name of that.
I know, I should too, but I can't remember either.
Ian will tell you. They're good. They're very good. And Sean, their friend, is a guitarist. And so they were just like, can you play bass? Because they had heard through somebody that... Somehow they had heard that I play bass, and I don't play bass.
You play 90s cover
I've
songs.
played bass a few drunk nights in college, like jokingly, because there was one in the room, and I was like, it's like a guitar with fewer strings. But I lied to Ian. It's like, yeah, I play bass, no problem. No big deal. So I borrowed a bass guitar from my old neighbor and practiced the list of songs, and I mean, a lot of the basic principles apply. It's just more technique and just kind of listen. You're listening to a different part of the song, and you're kind of in a different section of the band. But we got through it. I think I did okay, and we had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Boatload of fun.
Yeah. So we're actually going to, at the end, when we're all done talking today, I'm going to play a clip from your performance.
Oh, boy.
At the Battle of the Bands.
Oh, okay.
It'll be lovely.
Well, and that'll be this year's battle.
Yeah, this year's.
Has already happened.
Which has already happened.
Clearly.
No pressure to be
awesome.
awesome.
Don't know how many breweries are going to be there, but clearly it's already happened.
So, after I came out of last year's, I really wanted to be part of a Jimmy Fallon type of band where Jimmy Fallon
all
and
classroom
Roots.
instruments?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be
Okay.
awesome?
We had a kazoo piece prepared for last year, but it got cut. We just decided we didn't have the time to do it, and we wanted to just make sure we got the songs in. But there was going to be a kazoo intro to one of the Weezer songs, and I think we should have done it. I still think we should have done it.
Yeah.
So there may or may not be kazoos this year. We'll see.
Well, if there are, we'll have them for our
You'll hear
audience. We will be coming back to the musician piece very shortly. But before we do, we want to finish up this piece of the interview. And let's move into one of your first, because you have been on the show before. But we can't break tradition. So let's do one of your first beer memories.
One of my first beer memories.
You can choose it from any segment of your life.
I think I already talked about the time that I went and drank one of my dad's Miller Lights when I was 8, and that was a mistake.
Yes.
But it didn't put me off beer for life.
That's good.
Did I talk about the time? No, that's underage drinking. We can't talk about that. That never happened. That's why we're not talking about it.
That thing never happened. How about the first time you brewed a beer, at Nice? You have your new... No, we can't talk about that. No?
No, off the record, strictly, that batch went down the drain. We just learned a lot that day. But the first time I homebrewed was actually kind of interesting because I had decided the summer that I turned 20, I was like, I'm totally going to get into homebrewing beer. Like, I want to do it, but you're not allowed to do it until you're 21. And I probably could have just gone and bought the equipment because I don't think homebrew shops card, but I was still 20 and I was paranoid and I figured that I'd go to jail or something. So I waited to buy the equipment, but I bought The Complete Joy of Homebrewing, the Charlie Papazian book.
Yeah, Relax, have a homebrew.
Yeah, Relax.
I own that book.
So I bought that the summer before I turned 21. So I turned 21 in March of 2006.
Wow, you're just a baby.
Anyhow, so it would have been summer of 05. I was on, break from college, and I really was interested in beer. I was drinking, underage drinking. Never had any of it, but I was around a lot of craft beer. It smelled
a lot.
It smelled amazing. There were these things called hops that I was like, what is this thing? So I was very curious about beer, having never tasted it myself. And I decided to dig into Charlie's book. So I bought it. I had a notebook. And this is, if you know me, this is so unlike me, one, to actually read something, and two, to take notes on it. But I had this whole list. I was coming up with, adapting his recipes for things that I thought I would like. And I just went through, I plowed through, and I just made myself this, dossier of how Tim is going to tackle home brewing.
Nice word choice.
And so then I get around to it. I got the equipment. I did my first batch. I was living in Old Town, Maine at the time, going to University of Maine, Orono. And I made the first recipe that Charlie tells you to make. No deviations other than, I think there was a hop substitution, but it was I don't know, Goldings for Fuggles or something, hops that I don't use anymore. But I went through the steps. It was complete malt extract. There was no grain. It was just stirred in the pot. Get it to a boil. Don't boil over, which definitely boiled over. And
that stuff's really sticky.
Oh, it's totally sticky. And it was, it was a great experience, but you think back to that first brew and it's just do so many things wrong. And it's just funny because no matter how much planning and pre-thought I did, by the time, the moment I opened the first can of malt extract, it was panic mode until I put the lid on the bucket. But the next day, there were little bubbles in the airlock. It was moving. That beer fermented. It didn't kill me. It was really bad. I scorched the malt on the bottom of the pan, so I had those really, burnt sugar flavors. But I don't know. I still remember it. And I still have the original brew sheet from it. It was in 06, so that was when I made my first batch of beer. So glad there are no more bottles of that around. That would be really bad by now. But so that's an early beer memory for me, I suppose. I hope that it was worth listening to, and if it wasn't, I apologize. I owe you a beer.
It's all right. I'll let you buy me a beer anyways. But it was worth listening to. Okay, round 4.
Oh, I love round 4. I haven't even done it yet.
Yeah. Okay, so I just randomly, so what happens is I randomly go online and say, getting to know you questions, and I just write some down.
Google must think you're so lonely.
Google really must. Google has no idea. Like, some days, because of the different jobs I have, I'm like, looking for finance podcasts. The next day, I'm looking for a strictly real estate podcast. Then I'm saying, getting to know you questions. And
Google's like, girl, pick a hobby and stick with it.
Exactly. He's like, what do you want?
What do you want out of life? All right.
And then, 50% is beer. It's like you're a lonely alcoholic.
This is 5 potential get to know you questions.
6.
Which,
I think there's 6.
yes.
Yeah.
I wanna
Which,
sell my
no, I don't think anybody's asked these ones yet.
All right. So I'm going to take one of these cards.
Yep. And
got
I'm
it.
going to take one, too.
Can I look at it?
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Rock, paper, scissors?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, shoot. We shoot on shoot.
Obviously.
Okay. I've just got to go over the ground rules.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Ah,
1, 2, 3, shoot. You get to pick.
All right. I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Paper covered rock, by the way, and we tied on scissors on the first round.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. I like this one for you. What is your favorite flavor of jelly bean?
I'm intrigued by buttered popcorn in the Jelly Belly.
Yeah.
Because that's the one that always gets me. I'm like, it tastes like buttered popcorn.
But do you like it?
It's hard to separate the part of my brain that's really interested by something and the part of my brain that really likes something because they're very similar. But no, I like lemon. I'm a citrus guy through and through.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love the lemon Starburst. I know everyone goes wild for the pink Starburst. I also
yellow.
enjoy
I like
those,
both.
but the yellow are also good. So yeah, I would go with the yellow jelly bean unless it's a banana flavored one. And then the guy that makes wheat beer is saying this. Get out of here! I hate that stuff. I hate fake banana.
Although I did like those runts. Like the little ones.
Yeah,
that were
yeah.
I like those bananas.
I don't love them.
No.
They're cute. Cute as all get out, but I don't
They're
like
so
them.
adorable.
I would pick the bananas out of my runs.
I have a hard time, too, with that whole, sometimes I can't tell. I'll be eating it, and it'll take me, the whole entire whatever it is to decide, no, I don't
like
think
that.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, do I, no, yes, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I'll eat that I'm just, I ate a deer heart once because it was what was being served. And, I ate 4 pieces of it, and by the 4th one, I was like, I really don't like this at all, but this is so interesting.
Yeah.
And when am I going to get to eat deer heart again? It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I can imagine. Yeah, I had popcorn today that I make this special sauce that I put on it with a little bit of Cajun seasoning in there, a little bit of garlic, a little butter, and some oil.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good. And I was like, ooh, I wonder what would happen if I add some honey to this.
Nothing bad.
I don't know.
Was it too sweet?
No, it did something different. It wasn't really a burnt flavor, but it was like a...
Oh, so you were making the sauce in a pot?
Yeah.
And you added the honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would add the honey
After. Yeah.
To not
it was
burn it.
It didn't get burnt. It was literally on there for long enough for me to...
Caramelize a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
So that might have been... That's the Maillard reaction right there.
Yeah.
That's what that is. All right, is it my
All
turn?
right, your turn.
My turn? Oh. This could sort of apply to beer, but life in general. Sweet or salty?
Oh, but this one's really difficult. I think it depends on the day for me.
Well, and now it's 2016 and all possibilities are on. They're sweet and salty now. You can have those sweet and salty granola bars that are
Right.
the best ones, and
Yeah.
sea salt on chocolate,
Caramel sea salt ice cream is my favorite.
life changing. Caramel sea salt, it's mark my words, it's the next pumpkin spice.
Really?
It already kind of is.
It
I mean,
kinda
I'm pretty
is.
sure
It's
you can
coming
get
up there.
caramel sea salt lip balm at this point.
Really? That does not sound intriguing to me.
Doesn't, but I bet you they make it.
I bet they do. They actually make
It's in that part of your brain. It's I'm more interested than I am
Yeah.
I like it, but
At Dunkin' Donuts, they have a
Salted caramel hot
salt,
chocolate.
Yeah.
yeah.
I like to take salt and sprinkle it on my chocolate.
Yeah, hot chocolate, that works.
Yeah.
Or actually on a bar.
Like on a bar
Yeah,
chocolate.
yeah.
I'll melt some chocolate down. I'll put some salt on it.
Oh, yeah. Just shout out to, Limerick, Maine. We represent, right? Right Chocolate House.
Yeah.
It's in Limerick. She makes the world's best sea salt caramel. And if you don't believe me, go eat one, and then you'll believe me, and then we won't fight each other. But otherwise, we'll fight each other. So go to rightchocolatehouse.com. Order some for yourself. She's open Saturdays during the cool months, and you should totally go see Lynn. She's one of the nicest people ever. But order it online.
Shout out to Lynn.
Lynn's the best. Makes the best chocolate in the world.
Yeah, I don't know. I've recently started putting pretzels in my ice cream.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine. I'm
I
okay
don't
with
know.
that.
You're okay
Get
with that?
soggy though?
No. I don't let them sit there.
Well, I don't know. We discuss time frame.
Yeah, no.
Put them in on Wednesday and on Saturday.
No, I put them in
I dry pretzeled my ice cream.
I dry pretzel my ice cream. Yes, I do. I don't think I could go even like savory or sweet.
Yeah,
I'm an everything. I need everything.
I'm gonna go salty, only because like if you put a plate of like salt and vinegar chips or a bowl of ice cream next to me, I'm gonna demolish the salt and vinegar chips. It's just I get that like I'll eat sweet things and I'll be like, this is really good, but oh my god, it's so sweet, I'm getting overwhelmed. Salty things are like, oh, this is so good, oh, it's gone, like just so.
See, you had me until you added the vinegar in there.
Okay. Well, how about if I said Humpty Dumpty barbecue chips?
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
Even though it rips your mouth to shreds because of like
does,
the chip. I think it's the geometry of the chip. There are a lot of shards, and they use a lot of MSG in those. That's why they're so good.
I love the way your brain thinks.
Ugh.
Can I just say, this is fabulous.
Yeah. I think about a lot of stuff. I don't get much done.
That's probably why it's good that you're out in Limerick, marketing beer.
Yep.
You've got some time to think about Humpty Dumpty chips.
I do.
And then you get to tweet about beer, and you're like, let's go back to...
Tweet about Humpty Dumpty
chips. You should totally tweet to Humpty Dumpty.
Maybe
you could do a collaboration.
Okay. I'm down. If they want to do a half of ice and chip, that sounds awful.
They're doing so many Lay's is doing all of those, like...
Okay,
random...
we'll call them the crazy Lays. Best one I ever had, wasabi ginger. So good.
Yeah.
It's the sushi chip, and I'm okay with it. I loved it. The sriracha ones are all right. Chicken and waffles was weird.
Yeah.
I didn't like the maple aspect of it. It was a little fake sweet. I mean, we're in New England. Don't give me fake maple.
Right.
Give me real maple. I think that's all I've had of the weird Lays. The crazy Lays.
The crazy Lay's.
Right.
My thing is like some of them just sound like they're other chips. Like they've got a tzatziki.
Oh, that must be new this year.
Yeah.
So it's like the dill pickle chip with some weird sour.
Well, no, it's like sour cream and herb, like sour cream and onion.
But it's going to have a dill component, I think, which is kind of your difference there.
Probably.
Yeah, but.
And then there's another one that's like a baked potato, which is like just basically cheese and bacon, which is kind of just
Isn't that
like
just a cheese and bacon chip?
Right.
Because the potato is being played by a potato.
Right.
It's quite a stretch.
I know.
Yeah.
So.
It's uninspired, is what that is.
Right. But on to more inspiring things.
Oh, yes.
Up next is your performance.
Let me get my vocal cords ready.
Get them ready. All right, we'll talk to you after you're done.
Okie doke.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just stoned? I went to a shrink to analyze my dreams. She says it's like a sex that's bringing me down. I went to a whore. He said my life's a bore, and so quit my whiting 'cause it's bringing her down. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Are you hurt? Grasping to control, so I better hold on. myself the crease. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just dumb? Well, she was an American girl, raised on promises. She couldn't help thinking that there was a little more to life somewhere else. And after all, it was a great big world with lots of places to run to. Yeah, but if she had to die trying, she had one little promise she was gonna keep. Roll by on the 441 like waves crashing on the beach, and for one desperate moment, yeah, she crept back in her memory. God, it's so painful, something that's so close, it's still so far away. Oh yeah, all right, take it easy, baby, make it last all night. She was an American girl.
All right, you get to vote for one. Is it Rising Tide? Bandit Horn Nice? Rising Tide? Bandit or Nice? Bandit or Nice?
Yeah, it hurts me to say
Bandit
this.
or Nice?
But yeah.
Come up here and claim your baby trophy.
It's pretty cool. It's a non-scientific victory. It's crowd applause, but we had a crowd and they applauded.
Nice job. Nice job.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure you guys should have won, but hey, everybody wins, right?
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Is there anything, last little something you'd like to say about being a brewer, a musician, anything that you've learned?
I've learned that I definitely want to keep doing this. Like, this is a really fun yearly event to look forward to. It's, not only does it help us all kind of scratch that rock star itch that we all seem to have, but it's just a great way to get out and see other people in the brewing industry that you kind of, as we all kind of get busy and busier and deeper into this owning a brewery thing, it's like the times for interaction, just casual interaction, seems to be fewer and fewer. So it's nice to have this event to look forward to, just to get together with everybody, get everybody in the same room and just have a blast. So that's really the number one thing. I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Thank you so very much to Tim Bissell for chatting with me, and to him and the entire band for rocking out so amazingly well. The Battle of the Brewery Bands is certainly one of my favorite Portland Beer Week events. Make sure you head over to the show notes for links and maybe even a little something special. greatbeeradventure.com/073. Join me next week as I swing into Yards Brewing Company for another brief brewery bio. If you all are fabulous co-adventurers would like to support the show, check out our Patreon page. For less than the cost of a beer, you can show us some love. Go to greatbeeradventure.com/support. If you want to see even more from our adventures, follow us on Instagram @GreatBeerAdventure. And be sure to subscribe to the show. That way, you won't miss a thing. Great Beer Adventure is part of the Great Pint Society. Cheers.
Gabe, you ready? Yeah, I think I'm ready.
All right. Count us
1, 2, 3. Ah, beer, 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 diddly, beer, beer, beer. A long time ago, way back in history, when all there was to drink was nothing but cups of tea, along came a man by the name of Charlie Mops, and he invented a wonderful drink and he made it out of that's invented Admiral, a Sultan, or a king. And to his praises we shall always sing. And look what he has done for us, he filled us up with cheer. And all best Charlie Mops, the man who invented beer, 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 totally beer, beer, beer. The brewery's bar, the fancy's pub, the hole in the wall as well. It's one thing you can be sure of, is Charlie's beer they sell. They're coming home, me lucky lads, 11 o'clock she stops. For 5 short seconds, remember Charlie Mops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He might have been an admiral, sultan, or a king. And to his praises we shall always sing. And look what he has done for us, he filled us up with tear. And all this Charlie Mops, the man who invented beer, beer, tiddly beer. A 3 amount of barrel of hops, you sit around with a stick. The sort of lubrication to make your engine tick. A 40 a pint to wallop a day, it'll keep away the clacks. It's only 8 in hay per pot and 1 in 6 in tax. 1, 2, 3.